The Infinite Vulcan is another episode that displays the advantages that animation had that the original show didn't, and that in depicting alien species. And here we have these sentient plant creatures that, again, if it had been within the show, even if they were doing it at the time of the early 70s, it still would have been, some kind of puppet, I guess, if anything at all. But it truly looks like something alien in this planet that the Enterprise encounters. This show has a lot of stuff that themes that were had been utilized before, and including one scene. I joked about the scene when they met Apollo, and he becomes a giant, and Kirk has to look up his toga. Well, they find this guy who. Well, I'll just spoil it. They encounter clones. And so this is a clone of a man who was part of the eugenics program and was still pursuing the idea of a master race. But apparently he took to wearing togas. And he's giant. He's huge. So again, yes, Kirk has to look up this guy's toga. So the plant species are from a race that had nearly died out, but then this guy showed up and saved them, and he's interested in their technology. They had once been a very advanced race, but they fell on hard times and all that, and they can only go so far. They're dying out, and that's that. But they worship this guy and do whatever he wants, basically, and his intention is to continue his work and look for another mind that can also be cloned to help him out. And he decides that Spock is the perfect specimen that he's been looking for. And so takes Spock, kidnaps him, and clones him and transfer his consciousness into this clone body, which is also a giant Spock, complete with uniform and everything. So... and to have his plan to take over the galaxy and make it into a less warlike and more utopian society. Of course, at some point, Kirk informs them they've kind of already achieved that. So his name's Caniglius, I believe. I'm forgetting exactly. And he's like, well, now what do I do? And so Giant Spock says, there's still science and stuff that you've achieved that can be for the betterment of all living kind, and we can continue to pursue that. Well, all right. And I don't know, I guess they fall in love after that or anything. The problem is that by transferring Spock's consciousness into the giant, the original Spock was dying very much like he was in Spock's brain, where he had no brain, and McCoy was saying the body would only last so long and that sort of thing without any mind in it. But Giant Spock comes up with a solution and basically does the Vulcan mind meld and copies the consciousness and puts it back into real Spock. So, he wasn't Spock after that. He was a copy of Spock. Yeah, whatever. Some repetitive elements there, but continue within the overall continuity. The eugenics business and stuff here was a variation of that. Instead of just outright copying Khan and all that stuff, that's what it happened here. So it's an interesting episode. I don't know if it's one of the better ones, but at least it's not just a quick repeat of the Tribbles that they did. So there's interesting concepts and explorations here. And then, of course, the bond between the characters, and Kirk was going to save Spock no matter what and all that type of stuff. But that's about it. I suppose it had been a continuation of it. There's this giant Spock living somewhere on this planet, because the animated series is canon, then, and they have this perpetual life. I mean, the cloning techniques, they just keep transferring to other copies, and so there's Spock and this toga guy living on this planet with the vegetable people, which would combine with Spock's expertise. Perhaps they figured out a way to continue the plant life people so that they weren't going to become extinct and all that. There's also the matter of they had a fleet of ships there that could have invaded the outer galaxy and stuff. I wonder what became of those. It's like that's one of those things. If the Federation sends somebody later to look, we're going to need this contained. You can do your weird experiments and invent treatments for sickness and stuff like that, but we're going to have to scrap that invasion fleet. I don't know. But anyway, all in all, not bad of an episode, but not all that spectacular either. But again, does display the advantages of the depiction of alien species. That being said, they did have the away team got attacked by these pink dragons who just looked. I mean, they were supposed to be a plant-based life form as well. They didn't look as plant-based as the other aliens. They were just pink dragons with that old cartoon sound effect, I can't do it, but you hear it in all the cartoons from the 70s of different creatures that would attack the different heroes, whether it was Tarzan or Super Friends or whatever. It was always that. I don't know. They just put it on a loop, But whatever. Well, who's to say what a pink plant-based dragon would sound like, So there you go. Yeah, infinite Vulcan, and apparently, yes, infinite. For all intents and purposes, I guess he's still there, even now. Let's hope STD doesn't find out. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.